CGI has always been considered as one of the biggest banes of any anime show. No matter what it's used for, it will almost always make the viewing experience just that much worse. In recent years, however, we see leap and bounds in the development of CGI technology being used in anime, where once CGI would lead to instant disgust, now seem not so bad. Back in 2016, the first season of Arjun was released. As a show that was completely done using CGI, it attempted to challenge the tradition of shitting on CGI animes. Personally, I think it was successful in doing so. It was honestly the first completely CGI anime I've watched that didn't break the viewing experience. Although not perfect, it had its moments and was a good start to the future of CGI in animation. Come late 2017, Hoseki no Kuni was released and bore a smash all expectations. Despite being completely animated using CGI, it was a masterful work of art. The character movements were fluid and every frame of the show felt as if it was a piece of artwork. Using CGI, the show was able to achieve effects that traditional frame-to-frame animation couldn't, and demonstrated the potential that CGI has in the future to come. Even right now, Hoseki no Kuni remains as one of my own personal favorites. But today, the main topic of this video isn't about either of those animes, but rather the latest addition to the family of CGI animes. Animated by the same Studio Orange that created Hoseki no Kuni 2 years ago, Beastars is the current pinnacle of CGI in anime. Adapted from a highly acclaimed manga series, there will be no doubt how amazing the story will be. The big question was whether or not the show could put on the visuals to match. I had high expectations going into the show, and walked away satisfied. The animation was very fluid and sometimes it was difficult to tell that the show was even CGI at all. Across the board, the characters were all very well modeled and animated. Unlike CGI in the past, these characters look very much alive and the subtle movements characteristic of each one of them really adds to this effect. I think a great big highlight of Beastars is how well they managed to animate the expressions of each character using CGI. Set in a world filled with anthropomorphic animals, it follows the struggles of each character dealing with the discrimination between the meat-eating carnivores and the herbivores. Despite being half animal, these characters deal with issues and problems that are very much human-like. If anything, the conflict between them arising from their animalistic nature highlights the very human emotions of each character. In order to portray this, the use of body language and facial expressions must be perfected. Honestly, if the show was done using traditional animation methods, I don't think the characters would be anywhere as expressive as they are. I was also surprised at how the show was able to mix 3D CGI to create 2D hand-drawn effects. During scenes with little to no movement, it becomes very difficult to distinguish a character as a CGI model. In the past, some anime has tried to do this, only to get laughable results. Furthermore, this show was able to mix the CGI characters seamlessly into the two-dimensional backgrounds. For some reason, it felt like the characters belonged in their settings and everything worked harmoniously. Lastly, I really want to talk about the big action scenes. They are simply incredible for a show created by CGI. There have always been difficulties associated with anime CGI characters in making their movements look fluid. In this show, they were able to not only make natural and fluid animations, but also utilize dynamic camera movements to enhance the atmosphere in these high intensity scenes. A good example of this is in the Legoshi vs. Bill scene. You can easily discern the movements of each character, and the dynamic camera and facial expressions really add to the intensity of this fight. It really does feel like you're in the scene watching the fight unfold in person. Of course, this show also has its flaws. Like most CGI anime, due to its budget constraints, it suffers sometimes from the lack of frames from one CGI position to another, as well as some janky movements here and there. After all, it would be quite unreasonable to expect the same level of fluidity from a season-long anime show as Disney or Pixar movie, for example. Across the board, however, these problems seem rather minor to the things that this show does well. Comparing other animes created by CGI, the common CGI problems in Beastars could hardly be noticeable. I think this show really demonstrates the potential of CGI in the future of anime. Of course, it probably won't take over traditional animation. Maybe in the future we'll see more CGI based anime and come to accept them more easily. As this video isn't really a review of Beastars, so I won't give a rating or recommendation. But if you ever come across this show and get turned away because of the fact that it's CGI, then I highly suggest you have another look. The visuals of this show are amazing. Anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.